You are not a product of circumstances. You are a product of your decisions. Stephen Covey. Before we begin, here's a small ritual. Write in the comments one word that accurately describes your current state. Sign it, and let's get started. You've read the books, you've watched the seminars, you've tried affirmations, positive thinking, morning routines, yet you're still here, still feeling that emptiness inside, that silent ache you carry, even when no one sees it, that quiet voice whispering, something's missing. You've worked hard, you've done everything the experts said, you followed the plans, you wrote your goals, you repeated the mantras, but the truth remains. Deep inside, you know you're not where you could be, not even close. This isn't about lack of effort. You've given everything you had. And that's exactly why it hurts so much. Because when you give everything and still feel hollow, the pain cuts deeper. You begin to question yourself. Maybe you're broken. Maybe success is not for you. Maybe you're just not enough. But let me tell you something most will never say. The problem is not you. The problem is the system of beliefs you've been handed. You've been told that success is about motivation, about constantly forcing yourself to hustle, about working more, sacrificing more, pushing more. You've been taught to chase happiness, confidence, and abundance as if they are destinations you can arrive at if you just run hard enough. But that model is broken. That model has never worked because the foundation was always wrong. You don't become number one by running faster on the wrong road. You don't heal emptiness by adding more noise. You don't overcome fear by pretending it's not there. The real shift happens much deeper. It happens inside your system of internal beliefs, inside the core operating system that runs your mind, your emotions, your decisions, your reactions. What no one told you is this. Without resetting those inner codes, you will keep repeating the same cycles. Different job, same emptiness. Different relationship, same pain. Different income, same anxiety. You're not stuck because you lack potential. You're stuck because your mind is playing an old program, and no amount of external effort can overwrite that. Today, we're going to break that code. We will walk through 10 internal mindsets, not tactics, not motivational slogans, but deep psychological shifts that rebuild your inner architecture. Because becoming number one is not about being better than others, it's about becoming fully aligned with yourself. When that happens, every area of your life starts to shift. Your finances, your relationships, your health, your career, your peace. And here's the truth no one wants to face. This path is not easy. It requires brutal honesty. It demands that you look straight into your own shadows. It asks you to dismantle illusions you've held for years. But if you're ready, truly ready, this will be the beginning of a completely different life. By the end of this journey, you will see why your pain was never the enemy. You will understand how every struggle was pointing you towards power you didn't know you had. If you feel these words speaking to you, subscribe to the channel, because this truth needs to reach others who are ready to stop running from themselves. Now, let's begin. The first internal mindset that will transform your life is absolute responsibility. Not partial, not conditional, total. Everything in your life is a direct result of your decisions, your patterns, your actions. The moment you release yourself from the fantasy that external circumstances control you, you take back your power. Most people live in blame. They blame the economy, their parents, their partner, their past, their genetics, their luck. And as long as they do, they stay powerless. Because when you blame, you give away control. You declare that something outside of you is responsible for your reality. That is the most dangerous illusion. Absolute responsibility means you own your finances, your health, your relationships, your emotions. Even when something wasn't your fault, it's still your responsibility now, because only you can change it. This is not about guilt or shame. This is about power. Responsibility is freedom. The moment you say, "This is mine to fix," you unlock the ability to actually change. The second internal mindset is clarity of vision. Without a crystal-clear vision of where you're going, you will always be lost. The world is full of distractions. If you don't have a strong internal compass, life will pull you in every direction. You will chase trends, opinions, fears, and other people's expectations. You become reactive instead of intentional. Clarity means knowing exactly what you want to create in every area of your life. Financially, emotionally, physically, spiritually. You see the picture in full detail before it exists, and you hold that vision with unshakable focus, even when circumstances try to shake you. People who become number one are not lucky, they are clear. Their vision is not vague. They don't say, "I want to be successful." They define what success means for them in specific, detailed terms. They build that image inside their mind and align every action with it. Vision is not daydreaming. Vision is mental architecture. You build the blueprint first. The world follows later. When you combine total responsibility with absolute clarity, something shifts inside you. You stop waiting. You stop hesitating. You stop following. You start leading. You become dangerous in the best sense because you are no longer controlled by external noise. You know who you are. You know where you're going. And nothing outside of you can shake that. The third internal mindset is discipline over motivation. Motivation is weak. It depends on feelings. It fades when obstacles appear. Discipline stands regardless of emotion. It operates on principle, not mood. Every successful person understands this truth. If you wait to feel ready, you will wait forever. Discipline is the ability to act when you don't feel like it, to move forward when your emotions scream for comfort. This is where true growth happens. Discipline is built through repetition, structure, and commitment to a routine. Morning rituals, daily priorities, controlled habits. They become non-negotiable parts of your life. You train your mind to obey decisions, not feelings. This rewires your nervous system to prioritize action over comfort. Discipline makes you consistent, and consistency compounds into mastery. The fourth internal mindset is control of attention. Your life is shaped by what you focus on. Attention is currency. Most people waste it on chaos, drama, fears, and distractions, social media, endless news, meaningless conversations. They drain mental energy without giving anything back. When your attention is scattered, your power is diluted. Focus is what concentrates your internal force into something sharp, something that cuts through noise and creates results. Controlling attention means you choose your inputs carefully. You control what you consume, who you listen to, what thoughts you entertain. You starve the distractions and feed your purpose. The mind, when focused, becomes a weapon. When unfocused, it becomes a prison. When discipline and focus combine, you enter a different mental space. You become effective, sharp, dangerous to mediocrity. Your days are no longer random. Every hour serves a purpose. Every decision is filtered through your vision. Distractions lose their power because you simply don't give them space. This is not about being robotic. It's about being intentional, about owning your energy instead of bleeding it. Most people live in a fog, reacting to every noise around them. You rise above that. You operate from clarity, structure, and purpose. And that alone will place you far ahead of most. The fifth internal mindset is emotional sovereignty. Most people are slaves to their emotions. They react to every trigger, every insult, every fear, every temporary feeling. But true power comes from mastering your emotional state. This does not mean suppressing or denying emotions. It means becoming fully aware of them, understanding their roots, and refusing to let them control your actions. Emotions are signals, not commands. Fear, anger, sadness, they carry information. They reveal your wounds, your insecurities, your unresolved patterns. Instead of running from them, you face them. You sit with your discomfort. You study your triggers. You observe your emotional waves without drowning in them. This is emotional maturity. When you own your emotions, no one can manipulate you. You become unshakable, stable, grounded. Your peace is no longer at the mercy of external events. You feel everything, but you are controlled by nothing. The sixth internal mindset is radical self-honesty. Most people live in layers of self-deception. They lie to themselves about their motives, their weaknesses, their fears, their failures. They create narratives that protect their ego but trap their growth. True transformation requires brutal honesty. You must be willing to see your shadows, the parts of you that you don't want to face, your jealousy, your envy, your insecurity, your need for approval, your hidden fears. This is painful. The ego resists it. But only by exposing your own illusions can you dismantle them. Carl Jung called this the shadow work, integrating the rejected parts of your psyche. When you stop pretending and start confronting, you reclaim massive amounts of energy that was spent maintaining the lies. Self-honesty is the door to real power. It allows you to work on the actual problem, not the story you've built around it. And that creates internal freedom. When emotional sovereignty and radical honesty combine, you reach a level of psychological clarity few ever experience. You see yourself clearly. You no longer need to defend, justify, or blame. You take ownership of every part of your being, light and dark, and in doing so, you become whole. This wholeness radiates strength. You don't need to prove anything, you simply are. And that silent power is what elevates you above the masses, lost in their emotional chaos and self-deception. The seventh internal mindset is understanding social games and the laws of power. Most people are dangerously naive about how human dynamics operate. They assume that life is fair, that intentions are always pure, that honesty alone is enough. But the reality is far more complex. Human interactions are governed by invisible power structures, by dominance hierarchies, by manipulation, by unspoken rules. Power is not evil. Power simply exists. You either learn how it works, or you become controlled by those who do. Robert Greene's principles expose these hidden laws. People use charm, flattery, intimidation, alliances, and deception to advance their interests. To navigate this world effectively, you must become aware of these forces, not to exploit others, but to defend yourself from being exploited. Mastering social power requires emotional detachment. You observe motives without becoming emotionally entangled. You recognize when someone is using guilt, praise, or fear to manipulate your decisions. You stay grounded in your own values while understanding the moves being played around you. This awareness creates a kind of psychological armor. You stop being blindsided by betrayal, manipulation, or disappointment because you see the patterns as they form. You anticipate instead of react. You calculate instead of assume. And this doesn't mean becoming cold or cynical. It means becoming wise. The naive believe that being good guarantees safety. The wise understand that goodness must be combined with strength, with discernment, with strategic awareness. Without this, even your virtues can be used against you. Emotional predators seek out kindness without boundaries. Manipulators exploit trust that lacks vigilance. The world respects strength, wrapped in wisdom. When you master the laws of power, you stop fearing conflict. You stop avoiding hard conversations. You set clear boundaries and enforce them without emotional chaos. You learn to say no without guilt, to walk away without regret, to stand firm without aggression. Combining this social mastery with the previous mindsets creates a person who is unbreakable, internally stable, emotionally sovereign, brutally honest, and socially aware. You move through the world with calm authority. You are neither victim nor aggressor. You are centered. And from that center, you build influence that lasts. The eighth internal mindset is financial discipline. Success in any area of life requires stability, and money is no exception. Many people sabotage their own potential by living in financial chaos, spending emotionally, accumulating debt, chasing quick gains. They treat money as a tool for instant gratification rather than long-term empowerment. The wealthy understand that money is a servant, not a master. They control their finances with precision. They track their income, manage their expenses, save consistently, and invest wisely. George Clayson's timeless lessons in The Richest Man in Babylon still apply. Always save a portion of what you earn. Avoid unnecessary debt. Make your money work for you and protect it from loss. Financial discipline builds security, and security creates mental freedom. When you are not enslaved by financial anxiety, you can make decisions from a place of strength rather than desperation. The ninth internal mindset is endless learning. The world is constantly changing. Information evolves. Skills become obsolete. Those who stop learning fall behind. Successful people become students of life. They read obsessively, study from those ahead of them, seek mentors, analyze mistakes, and constantly refine their thinking. Brian Tracy emphasizes that your income and influence are directly tied to your knowledge and skills. If you want to increase your value, you must increase your capacity. This means dedicating time every day to learning something that sharpens your mind, improves your craft, or expands your understanding. Learning is not entertainment. It is an investment. Every book, course, and conversation has the potential to shift your perspective, reveal blind spots, and give you tools to navigate life more effectively. The combination of financial discipline and constant learning creates a foundation that few ever build. While most people live paycheck to paycheck, trapped in cycles of stress and reaction, you build stability that compounds over time. While others grow stagnant, relying on outdated knowledge, you evolve, adapt, and stay sharp. This foundation makes you anti-fragile. Economic downturns, career shifts, or unexpected challenges do not destabilize you because you have both the resources and the mental flexibility to pivot. You are no longer a hostage to circumstances because you have built internal and external reserves of strength. This stability allows you to approach life with a different posture. You stop making decisions out of fear. You are not desperate for quick wins. You are playing a long game. And in that long game, patience becomes your ally. You allow time to compound your efforts, your investments, your skills, and your relationships. This patience, rooted in stability, allows you to make wiser moves, avoid unnecessary risks, and seize opportunities that others miss because they are too busy scrambling for immediate gratification. As you master your finances and your mind, you create a life that operates on a completely different level. Your peace is not fragile. Your confidence is not artificial. Your growth is not accidental. You are intentionally constructing a structure that supports greatness in every domain of your existence. And with this structure in place, you are prepared for the final and most powerful internal shift. The 10th internal mindset is service and meaning. At the highest level, true power no longer revolves around personal gain, but around contributing something larger than yourself. Many chase money, status, or recognition, thinking these will bring fulfillment. But every person who reaches those external peaks eventually faces the same realization. Without purpose, success feels empty. Purpose is not a vague dream or temporary motivation. Purpose is a deep alignment between your talents, your values, and your contribution to the world. It is the reason behind your actions. When you serve something bigger than your ego, your work gains energy, resilience, and impact that purely selfish goals can never generate. Now comes the most practical and most powerful advice that few truly master: the role of discipline and persistence. No matter how big your vision is, no matter how inspiring your purpose feels, none of it matters without consistent, disciplined action. Discipline is the engine that carries you through the boring, repetitive, difficult days when nothing exciting happens. Most people quit not because they lack talent, but because they cannot endure the monotony of mastery. Success is not built on bursts of inspiration, but on daily, unglamorous repetition. Persistence transforms obstacles into stepping stones. Every failure becomes feedback. Every setback becomes data. When you approach your path with disciplined analysis, you are constantly learning from every outcome. You study what works, what fails, and what needs adjustment. This creates a feedback loop that sharpens your methods over time. In business, relationships, health, or any craft, this model is bulletproof. Act, observe, adjust, repeat. The disciplined mind does not crumble under failure because failure is not final. It is simply information. This model works because reality responds to persistence. The world may resist your efforts in the beginning, but consistent, disciplined pressure wears down resistance. Competitors fall away, obstacles break, uncertainty dissolves under the weight of your refusal to stop. Over time, you accumulate small wins that compound into massive results. The longer you stay in the game, the fewer competitors remain. Discipline and persistence are not glamorous, but they are unstoppable. When all 10 mindsets integrate, you transform into a person who cannot be easily shaken. You own your choices, your emotions, your finances, your learning, your social interactions, and your purpose. You operate from a place of internal clarity and external power. You are not chasing success. You are becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts it. And as you continue this journey, you will realize that every piece of pain, struggle, and confusion was a teacher preparing you for this level of strength. If you recognize yourself in these words, write in the comments, "I embrace my discipline." Let's build a community of those who refuse to quit, who are ready to face the truth, and who are committed to mastering themselves. This is only the beginning. We're sure you've discovered plenty of value, so subscribe now and stay connected.